What is going on, guys? It is Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today we have urgent updates on the Russia-Ukraine situation. We also have everything that has transpired over the weekend. Stick around. There is some really saucy stuff here. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough.
1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War 3. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War 3.
All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. If you've never been here before, we're going to go over a ton of stuff in a short amount of time. So remember, you can follow along with everything that we are doing here on a second device on our website, marfooglenews.com. Now, when you go over there, you will see that we have done a full bibliography. If we show you a picture, a tweet, a video, a document, an archived article, that will all be over on marfooglenews.com. Now, when you look, you'll see it's very easy to navigate. It is all done by thumbnail. Tonight's thumbnail is double-crossed, of course, referencing France and Macron basically bending the knee to Russia. We'll talk about that and more. Is NATO fragmenting? We might see some people last minute switch sides. Remember, the French got screwed by the U.S. with the nuke deal. In fact, they had like some sort of 12 or 13, 14-year nuke sub deal with Australia. That all got screwed over. And Australia said, no, we need them now. And then they ended up going through the USA, and it screwed them out of a huge, huge amount of money. So the French weren't too happy with us. And again, the French have always kind of had a thing for the U.S. Again, I think it's the fries thing. I don't know. Tell me why you think the French have always kind of looked down upon us, or there's at least been that kind of reputation. Anyways, comment that down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, we are also going to be talking about deployments, and again, there is a video right after this. So if you don't stick around for this whole video, make sure to see the short video we're going to do over on Marfoogle News right after this. I hope that about 10 minutes after this show ends, we are going to be going over onto Marfoogle News, our sister channel, and we're going to show you a very urgent update that we believe should be shared out. Let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex. How are you doing, and what is going on?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I am doing just fine.
Now, remember, when you click on tonight's show, you will see that there are show notes. That link is right down, the very first link in the description if you're watching YouTube. If you go to marfooglenews.com, if you're on DLive, it will all be down there. Now, there are a few things here to note. Once you hit the yellow bar, there is a trigger warning. That is the stuff that is too hot for TV, the stuff that is too far to one direction for us to cover without, of course, without well staying neutral or neutral as possible. And again, that's a whole nother show down there. So make sure to go check that out. There's tweets, there's videos, there's all sorts of stuff about, of course, everything that's going on up north. So again, make sure to go check it out. It is definitely a good section there. And then on the right, if you do want to support, we are completely independent. We don't have a multi-channel network. We don't have a multi-billion-dollar company behind us. We have you. So if you do want to support via one of our affiliates or do a PayPal, that's how you would do it. That helps support Dex as well. Don Ball, thank you for popping in before the show even started. Really, Don Ball, thank you so much for the 1999 super chat. We appreciate your support, and thank you for supporting Independent. And then, of course, Wages World, thank you for being the last one out. Video supposedly showing the harrowing F-35 crash aboard the USS Carl Vinson leaked. Or was it leaked? We don't know. It says the video shows an F-35C slamming into the ship and careening down into the landing area ablaze before falling back into the water. Now, this is an F-35C. It says what appears to be a smartphone video of a monitor that is playing closed-circuit camera system footage of the January 24th crash of an F-35 aboard the USS Carl Vinson has emerged online. The carrier was sailing in the tumultuous South China Sea at the time that the F-35C from the VFA-147 Argonauts crashed during a landing attempt aboard the ship. This is the second video, of course, that has supposedly shown the landing attempt in question. Although this one, which includes the Indec Pilot's Landing Aid Television, or PLAT, as well as the video shot from the ship's island camera room, gives us a full look at the actual incident, not just the moments leading up to it. Now, we've went around and we've actually sourced the video again. I'm going to skip kind of through this, but again, this is... through the actual other sources. Again, we had to look far and wide to not actually take this from YouTube. All right, so
I think that
let me hold on one second here. Just gonna turn that down. As you can see. As you can see right there, it's a very odd. I've never seen a camera angle like that. But again, you see it basically crash down, and it eventually went back into the sea. Apparently, we talked about it, how they have to get that back because the technology that was contained in that plane would be extremely valuable to China. They could pick it up and they could go, oh, these are the blueprints we already stole. I don't know. What do you think? Again, let us know. Dex
and Adam,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you guys want to go watch that video in the article, it's a little bit longer. There's another angle where it shows the entire plane going across, and you can see the pilot ejecting and then it falling off the other end of the deck on that ship.
Again, that one, that other video is more risky for us to play. So make sure to go over and check it out, and make sure to go and stop through and see all the other stuff on the website. Simply Pony, thank you for the support. Simply, thank you for sticking around for so long. Again, you've been here for a long time now, so thank you so much for sticking around. Joseph Newhouse made a video. Is this the beginning? Federal Reserve to use crypto with ISO 2022. I will check it out. Joseph, sounds very interesting. And then we have an alien filmed by Mars rover called 100% Proof of Intelligent Life. Now, Dex, do you want to explain this picture? Again, this is pretty wild.
Yes. So whoever caught this, I can't remember the person's name, with probably a YouTube channel or something else, found this from the Mars rover photographs and is claiming that it gives proof. But if of course, NASA and everyone else is not even commenting on it. But what's interesting is if you you're looking at this photo and there's a little red circle around the one you're showing now, it appears that a person is laying, or a being is laying down on a rock, and you can see footprints behind them where they went. And if you go down to the next picture, you can probably see a more blown up version of that, or zoomed in version of that image. So I leave it up for everyone to judge as to whether or not you think this is just a rock, or completely make believe, an artist rendition, or something else, right? But this is what they caught, and that's what they're proclaiming is proof.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe was it him? Was it him that did that? Yeah, I think I don't know. This is looking oddly familiar. but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Do you guys agree? Let's do it side to side. I don't know. I'm kind of starting to wonder here. Well, either way, let us know what you think in the comments below. Who do you think it is? And then Ottawa declares state of emergency over protests. So this is, a lot of people are following this because it has been a cluster, to say the least. So they have cut the GoFundMe twice now. They reinstated it, and then local law enforcement essentially said that they were being violent. So then they cut it again, saying that, they're not going to support that. It has turned into a huge deal because, of course, now there is this argument. Everybody was like saying, well, are you going to do a refund? At first, they were saying the $10 million they were just going to give to a random charity. And they said, well, okay, people are going to start suing you. And then they said that they would give it to a charity of the trucker's choice. And then they said that they would just basically people started charging back. They started doing chargebacks, which costs a lot of money to do. And they started coming in by the thousands, which it would have cost them just absolute, just chunks of money. So then they said that they would automatically start refunding the money back to people. At the same time, a Give, Set, Go, and this is why I like Give, Set, Go. I think it's Give, Set, Go, right, Dex? Is that what
Give, Send, Go.
Give, Send, Go. That was the one I've always suggested. I don't like that other one because we just had a bad experience with it before. And I know people that, obviously there's a lot of scams on that. People have nicknamed it Go Fraud Me. So again, there's that, and the fact that they pick and choose. I had a friend that posted a bunch of stuff on Facebook, and then he had cancer, and they ended up removing his because of his views on Facebook. And it was like, he wasn't famous, he wasn't anything. They removed it without any reason, and it was like it was tied directly to it. Which, that was before all those Congress meetings came out and let us know about all these systems that are tracking us sideways through every social media platform. Again, Facebook actually tracks you beyond Facebook, even if you are not a member of Facebook. If it's anywhere, they were tracking friends of the people that were on Facebook. Even with pictures that somebody was on Facebook uploaded, they would take that picture and that would be theirs then. So even if you've never even touched Facebook, you are on Facebook because guarantee you have been on a photo that somebody uploaded to it. But again, yeah, they were even when you weren't in the app, it was tracking other things. And they talked about that in Congress even. Pretty crazy. Now they're declaring a state of emergency. Remember, they have actually, Dex, they were able to cut fuel to them. Is that correct?
Yeah. So over the weekend, a lot has happened. So the police there, the Ottawa police, have actually, I think, arrested 7 people and started 60 investigations. They seized fuel and supplies for like 1,000 vehicles right after the state of emergency was declared. And then, of course, there's just a lot more going on with the conflict, I guess. Another one was a horn ordinance, where they came out with that and said you can't be in a trucker in the city and blow the horn for the next so many days. So they could use that as yet another way to a crime they could use against somebody, right?
Wow, they're even going to that. I mean, those horns are loud. They violently shake people's eardrums. I guess that does count.
And of course, they're saying all the people in the city are upset because they have to live there and they can't get around and all of that. But yeah, they've been there for a while and they're still doing, their job of occupying.
Okay, so and again, this might come into play. So as far as what they're doing up there, and again, everybody has their view on it. Some people don't like it. Some people are cheering on. Some people are Tom Cruise and couches. But again, it almost seems like it would be a really good stage to set a Fantastic Freddy. Just saying, they actually warned us not too long ago, just a couple weeks ago. DHS warned us that there was very credible and specific threats to our grid, and these threats were from the same type of people. Essentially, anybody that was part of these domestic groups, or the people they're labeling as that, right? They told us that. My thought was that would be a good setup, like say it's from inside. If the power goes out for everybody, and I mean all of us just lose power, the first couple days are going to be the absolute worst, because people are going to be absolutely panicked. People will be completely confused and they don't know what's going on. Well, if it's in the back of their head, and even if it's just in a few people, it will spread like a wildfire. Once the power goes out, people will say, oh, it was this group, it was that group. And they'll all the people that did pick up those few articles and the warning that they put out, that will spread through the people, and everybody will go, oh, it's this, and they will panic less. I would panic less if I knew that my power was out. And again, you might not know if the whole city's out. You might just know if your neighborhood's out. Well, if everything's out and then everybody starts realizing, kind of like on 2001 when the second plane hit, everybody realized, holy crap, this isn't an accident. Once you realize that it's not an accident and that it's on purpose, it would probably, this is just a theory, it would probably be good to have people think, oh, this is, people like what are in the protest. They're thinking, oh, well, they're not out to hurt me, rather than the boogeyman or somebody from the I countries in the Middle East, or, China or Russia. I bet you if it wasn't the big bad boogeyman, people would panic a whole lot less. So that was just one thought of it. Of course, now they had this warning. Now they have this thing going on in Ottawa. They're calling a state of emergency, saying that it's getting all this. And I'm not there, so I'm not going to comment on what is actually happening there. But there's plenty of videos out there to show you kind of what's happening. It says now DHS warns of a threat after HBCU bomb threats and a hostage incident. It says the Department of Homeland Security warned us of a heightened threat of domestic and foreign in the United States in a bulletin issued Monday. It says the threat of this will remain at heightened level until the bulletin expires in June, after recent threats made to at least 6 historically black colleges. So, universities and the hostage incident at a GOG in Texas. So, it seems like this is quite pointed to a very certain type of person. I won't go too much into this, but again, if the warning is there, then there may be something to go with that. If you catch my what I'm tossing, throwing, catcher's glove, that could have been better. Yoda. What do you think, Dex, as far as the National Tourism Advisory System, or the NTAS?
Well, I always look at these as, a potential insight as to what may happen in the near future, and what, and then I question how it actually happens, because I don't always trust the story that's being given, because that's a controlled story, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, they can control where it goes, how it is actually given. So who knows? I like how they say, it says, bulletin warns that online theories and other forms of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, I haven't heard that one in a while, malinformation have motivated these to exacerbate societal friction, to sow discord, and undermine public trust in the government. So, just want to put it out there. This kind of creeps me out. The fact that they are putting that out there like this, and this is now the second time in just a few weeks, and we have all of that going on up there, it seems like the stage is set for something. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below. Again, we have some bigger news than even this. Again, I hope you guys follow us over to Marfoogle News, because we've got a lot of big stuff this show and that show. All right, and then, we can. Again, we are independent, so if you can, please make sure to go over and check out marfooglenews.com. One, because it helps support us, but two, we think that this will actually end up saving people's sanity and possibly lives. marfooglenews.com/energy will go over and head over to a site that will bring you to one of the most sought-after solar generators / battery banks / battery walls. Again, this is a modular system that you can end up getting the base model. You can expand upon it. You can get extra batteries. You can get all sorts of devices that go with this. This is a modular solar generator that can power a ton of stuff. And again, it shows you a brief description of how many hours it can power with just one base battery. But again, you can expand upon this. So if you don't have enough money to just go out and get a battery wall, you can end up adding one at a time. If you only have enough for one solar panel, again, they don't make you buy their proprietary solar panels. You can go get one from Amazon, then get a second one in a couple months. Again, these are extremely useful. They are silent. When the power went out here, as I've said, I knew every single person with power, but even in the daytime when you can't see their lights on, you could hear their generator. Gas-powered generators take maintenance. Again, gas-powered definitely have a lot of issues, and if you're not a mechanic or even any mechanically inclined at all, then it's not great. Also, the first place that people are going to go if we really do have an SHTF situation is they're going to go and try to grab somebody's generator if they don't have one. So I would not want to be sticking out like a sore thumb. Again, especially when we had our last power outage, it was snow, so you could hear everything. I could hear people's generators from 2 blocks away, and I could tell where they were, which house it was. I was just thinking about if I was a bad guy, that's the house I would go to. So again, these are silent. Right now, our entire show is, we have 2 power bars, essentially 22 items powered off of this Energy Flex 1500 with 1 battery. Again, this is a great system. That way, including my router. So if anything happens, we still go. In fact, we looked into this originally because I lost 4 or 5 shows last year because of power outage. Where I'm living, everything keeps going out. So again, make sure to go check this out. These are great. marfooglenews.com/energy. Again, if we lose power, the show will go on. And plus, again, that the ability to mod this and get modular attachments like lights and appliances that are low voltage, it's absolutely amazing. Not to mention they're portable, and again, they are stackable. All right, and then again, make sure to use the code Marfoogle, marfooglenews.com/energy. That's marfooglenews.com/energy. All right, and thank you guys in advance. When you do that, you are helping our channel and you are helping yourself. Again, I don't expect anybody to run out and get one if they don't already need it, but there's a million uses. I think that it is one of the smartest things to own. All right, and then Dex, do you want to talk about the satellite images that show troop deployment at Belarus right outside of Ukraine?
Well, yeah, this is happening just ahead of, I guess, their talk about having nuclear drills and other drills that they're doing. So they've actually, I guess, for one of the few times we see a satellite image, and they talk about them, but they don't always necessarily show them. But this satellite image does show the troop troop buildup specifically in the area. So kind of an interesting view, something that I guess it's from a private U.S. company that published that satellite image, which is probably where we got it. It's not necessarily the super high res stuff that our government has access to, but it is still detailed enough that you could see it. And we have that picture you can show. I think it's on the next tab.
So right here you can see obviously a whole lot going on, and this is among probably now dozens released over the last couple of weeks, and it has increased. That is there's 2 arguments here. We've talked about Russia essentially stating that they don't want to invade and that this isn't their plan, and they said that it's not as much. But of course, satellite photos from 15 different allies of ours and their intel say otherwise. So there's also a whole big kind of thing here. They set up, they kind of like teed up this thing where basically they said that the U.S. and UK intel say that Russia is preparing to do basically kind of a Fantastic Freddy. And what they would do is make it look like Ukraine attacked them so then they could respond, because they can't just go, well, they're not supposed to, but if, say, Ukraine tried to, like, I don't know, invade or did some sort of act of conflict, then they could respond in kind and just go take them out. That is what the US and UK intel is saying that they're going to do. And I'm thinking, is this a double Fantastic Freddy where we actually go in and attack, but we've already set it up weeks in advance, which it seems like this stuff is really predictable. I'm sorry, but it seems like it's going to happen to where something in Ukraine is going to go and attack something Russian, and then Russian is going to respond, and then the world news will be, oh, well, they set this up. This was planned. We told you they were going to do this. Isn't that funny how they could do that? They can set it up and tell the whole world, hey, this is a plan, and we're basing it off information we can't show you on the basis of anonymity and hidden identities, and then all of a sudden we are in WW3 and possibly wiping out something. I will say this. There are a lot of things that are not what they seem. Macron just met with President Putin. There are some weird things here because now we are starting to gather like all of the different meetings that have taken place. We've been covering almost every night. Putin has met with the Cuba leader. We were just meeting with the German chancellor. Macron just met with Putin. Xi just met with Putin as well. Now Hungary is doing stuff with Russia. You have India going. There's some weird stuff with India. Possibly we might have India on our other side. So this is just really crazy stuff. As far as the troop buildup, it's not. This isn't great, obviously. But maybe the story is different. But does it matter? Is the outcome going to be different whatsoever? Most people are saying that it doesn't matter like what the situation is that this has gone too far for it to go back. And I don't know if that's true, and I hope it's not, and I'm hoping for a miracle. I'm hoping for, this to not happen, but that's not what it looks like. So, but things have been totally what they weren't, and so many times I can't count. Tony Simply, that's freaking funny. And Simply Pony and Tony Simply, thank you guys for both being here. Sickwid, we're going to lose every single one of our children. Scientists warning of a 9.0 earthquake to hit Washington prompts rush to tsunami-proof schools. Headline article. Sickwid, I know about it, and again, I completely agree. I've been talking to different scientists here for now 3 years, and now one just recently. Again, I agree with that, but I don't think there's any evidence that they have that's anything more than what we already have shared. But again, I would love to see that article. And then Dex, can you look up Linda Jeffries' comment? It says, do you have any information about satellite debris hitting the moon? I actually thought...
Yeah, we reported on that. It's a rocket that Elon launched many years ago. One of the early ones that's headed towards the moon. I don't know what the impact date is. Yeah, although it's funny, I've heard some people make some really kind of foolish claims in the media, like, oh, this rocket's going to mess up the the man in the moon or the face in the moon. But it's really, unless it's like a massive type of boomer, it's just going to be something you probably can't even see with a telescope on Earth, because it's tiny in comparison to the size of stuff on the moon.
Okay, so first of all, most amateur astronomers can see a rocket going into the backside of the moon, and they tell us that, oh, it's going to impact. What if it wasn't impacting? There's a lot of weird stuff happening with asteroid things, and I want to put together a video with Don't Look Up, because I think there's just so many weird similarities. And then Adam McKay, the guy who did Don't Look Up, his specialty is doing real life event based on real events. And he even jokes, or not jokes, it said based on real events that haven't happened. And then he puts in the trailer, yet. And if you look at it, he makes Glenn Close look like T-Man. He makes T-Man's son, Jonah Hill. He makes what's her name, Ariana Grande, and the other dude look like Kanye and Kim Kardashian, which even today they have been doing this back and forth public making up and breaking up and all of this. And it was like, that was when, back then it started. It even had a screenshot from the very beginning of the movie, and it was Elon Musk's meme that he posted of the moon man watching something go through the moon. And I just thought that was so, like, the stuff that we're paying attention to, they were in that movie. And then, of course, they worked directly with NASA and the DART mission. They tweeted out DART's mission. DART tweeted out, NASA actually tweeted out Don't Look Up. It's weird. And then they had the real people that are working on DART. DART was launched, Double Asteroid Redirection Test, and of course, they're sending some of the first pictures back. What if Didymos was actually going to hit? Now, I know that somebody like BP would say, hey, the software doesn't say that, but can't they change the software? What if they're telling us the numbers, but the numbers are off? Is that possible? Tell me in the comments below. Could they go up to the very top and go to where that application, where those numbers come in from the scientists? Could they change and alter that? I would think so. They can pretty much alter anything. What if Didymos, what if Don't Look Up was playing out right now and we didn't even know it? Cindy Rice, thank you. Stephen McMahon, God bless all in this house. Don Ball, respect your opinions. I tune in every night. Thank you. Don Bally. I missed the I there. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate yours as well. And then Snow Leo, thank you. Over on D-Live, all my great peeps over there, thank you. Scooby-Doo Do-Right, it's nice to see you again. M. Menching, celebrating my 21 plus. When I first joined D-Live, did not subscribe, just was here. Foogle family, that is awesome. 21 months, that's crazy. And then, of course, Release the Quacken. We've got Greifel. And M. Menching, thank you, sending happiness to all the family. So,
speaking of Kanye, Adam, did you hear that he wanted to go meet with Putin and potentially create a second home in Russia?
And you would have to now. I mean, that's just weird. There was also something else. There was, oh my gosh, somebody wanted to meet with Xi. Who also just met with Putin. Oh, I sent you the text earlier about Khabib. If you guys if you ever followed Conor McGregor versus Khabib, Khabib literally wrestled bears when he was a kid. Him and his, I don't know if he's Russian, Ukrainian, but his kind of, I don't know what you would even call his background, but I think he grew up in Russia. I'm not sure. But he literally wrestled bears when he was a kid, and they have video of him actually wrestling like baby bears, and that's what his parents did to make him a tough kid. And him and Conor McGregor, who is UFC superstar, they actually got in beef, and outside of it, Conor McGregor brought 20 people in, smashed up UFC, and was trying to beat up Khabib, and Khabib brought his guys, and it was like Tupac and Biggie of UFC. Well, now Khabib just met with Putin after his big win on the UFC final, and it's like, I don't know if Conor McGregor and his Irish lads are going to mess with him now that he's got literally KGB man, in his corner. I wouldn't. Think about that. If he, the off chance that he might actually have Putin's number and can call him and say, hey, this guy's bugging me. That would be super creepy. Apparently, Putin's a huge fan. Maybe he wants to take him under his wing, or bear claw, or whatever you want to call it. And, of course, we have Particulate warheads full of dust could help defeat hypersonic weapons. It says a new concept for hypersonic missile defense seeks to turn the tables and use the weapons' extreme speeds against them. It says hypersonic weapons are among the most difficult aerial threats to counter. The U.S. military leadership has for years been warning of these weapons that it could change warfare forever. One of the reasons is that they can outrun and outmaneuver almost all existing missile defenses. It says even those that have a shot at swatting them down only do so via a tiny engagement window. To try to fill the hypersonic missile defense gap, a new report published this week that they've claimed that clouds of small particles in the sky, what the authors call 21st century flak, could help better defend against hypersonic threats. So, Dex, doesn't that sound a lot like spraying?
Yeah, kind of. But this is really an interesting concept when you think about it. Like, the notion that these things are moving so fast that if they were to strike anything, it would be a big deal. And all you have to do is load up, the paths that they're going with a lot of particulate. In this case, it could even be really small particulate, but dense particulate that it would collide with it and cause, tremendous amount of potentially damage to that missile, that object. I mean, it's sort of like a plane running through a major big flock of geese or something. It, turns into damage and sometimes can cause severe damage, right? So when you deal with these high speeds, just a microscopic thing can actually cause quite a bit of damage to it. So this is kind of interesting concept. Of course, none of this is built yet, but the point here is, they're trying to say, like, we don't have the ability to necessarily defend against these. Our current, missile defense system doesn't work, or in theory shouldn't work against hypersonics. So how do we, and what can we do to protect ourselves, right?
Well, yeah, and it's kind of like how they say a piece of straw going at tornado speed can go right through a piece of plywood at a certain speed, or if you jump off a bridge into water is soft, right? Well, when you're at 100 feet, it's like concrete. So, I mean, I could see how a dust at hypersonic speeds would, possibly trigger it early, or possibly, tear it up before it reaches its target. And this is scary. So again, this isn't meant to scare, but this is a scary story. I mean, the fact. So somebody said Turner, right? So there was a story from another news agency. Again, we try to use the most, I guess, we try to confirm everything we can and try to do it without a source that can't be verified. And again, I have had people that have come to us and said, hey, they can't say their name out loud. In fact, Dex, we had somebody that had a extremely high position looking at the money that went through. And they told us about something which I don't know if any of the new folks knew about this, but a Class 2 gas giant. They were putting money into funds for debris cleanup, and it was so much money on a massive scale that's when I really was, it was confirming to me that I believe that they are preparing for some sort of asteroid to hit Earth. Even if it's not in our time, I don't know when it is, but they know that there's going to be some sort of debris cleanup. Again, this was something massive, right? And the whatever she saw said Class 2 gas giant. But again, it's like we couldn't say that. We try to keep that. Now, what Turner says is that this source that we don't know, said that they were loading up Mount. Well, do you remember the mountain name? Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Kilimanjaro or not Kilimanjaro? Do you remember it?
No, I don't remember the mountain.
Oh, Mount Yamandao, where they have a whole city. So one thing that we know for a fact is Russia has a absolute ton of bomb shelters. They can actually house every citizen in Moscow in a few minutes. They have shelters everywhere, and they have directions down to them. Big Chief, it's not Kilimanjaro. That was my brain thinking about, but it is Mount Yamantau, and it is a well-known nuclear city. Now, what they were saying is that they saw flights, instead of going to Ukraine, were actually going there. Or I'm sorry, instead of going to Moscow, they were going there. So again, it's pretty concerning to think that they may be loading these things up. It says, according to the report, but again, maybe they're loading it up because they think we're going to attack them, not the other way around. It says, according to the report from the Accounts Chamber made in 2017, there were 16,270 bomb shelters in Russia. According to the data from open sources, there are about 250 specialized shelters in Moscow today. Do you know where your local bomb shelter is here in the U.S. or in the U.K. or in Australia? Probably not. Moscow does, though. It says Moscow's most famous underground facilities and shelters are Metro 2, Ramenki 43, and Stalin's Bunker, where one can even book an excursion. There are extensive underground facilities in the complex of buildings in the National Control Center for the Ministry of Defense on Moscow's Frunzenskaya embankment. Many other government offices, including the House of the Government, also have bomb shelters. It says, according to Moscow Perspective, a newspaper of the Moscow construction complex, more than 2,500 facilities can be quickly converted into bomb shelters too. Metro stations, parking lots, underground shopping centers, and even basements. It says Moscow last held an inventory of various types of underground facilities and bomb shelters in 2016. Andrei Mashenko, deputy head of the main directorate of the Ministry of Emergency Situations for the city of Moscow, then said that Moscow is ready to provide bomb shelters for 100% of the city's population. Remember, we covered this back when Russia was actually putting it on their main TV. Like every regular channel was having these instructions on what to do in the event of a nuclear exchange. And at that point, it wasn't even that hot. It was that they actually do that a lot over there. And from what I understand, and I've seen a bunch of these are normal broadcasts, just like if you watch Channel 5 and they're talking about, speed bumps put in at the nursing home. They instead filled out with how to, long keep rice or how to can foods and things like this. There's something to be said on both sides of that. Dex, don't you think that is one, I guess, positive thing, but negative? I mean, they're not saber rattling because it's not the people in the U.S. and other countries. We don't see that. That's actually for their people to kind of prepare them.
Yeah, and even in this article, they're talking about the fact that they have already started yet another construction for a shelter in Moscow, and even another one that's being planned. So they're actively. This isn't like just left over from the old days of the Cold Conflict. This is like an active thing that they are investing heavily. And oh, by the way, let's not dismiss the fact that this is coming from a Russian news source. So this is the content that they're putting out from their side. So this is the headline, one of the major headlines that they put out, even though the story isn't really, it's something we all know already. We've talked about this before, but they're putting it back up front and center in their news that the shelters are ready, right? That's the headline, and that's coming from Pravda.ru.
Yeah, so their official mouthpiece is essentially saying they have it all done up and they're ready to go. So is that saber rattling, or is that actually somewhat, is this something that they're serious about? What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. Now, again, just to remind all the people that have come in late, again, there's about 4,600 on YouTube and at least a few hundred over on DLive. Again, make sure to join us on Marfoogle News. Right after this, we're going to do a live. You cannot watch that on DLive, unfortunately, because it's going to be, again, done with it's going to be done on a cell phone. So, again, join us for that video because I'm going to show you some stuff. It's really, really eye-opening, and it's something that should be shared with friends and family. And I believe people will share this one. Real quick, a reminder, if you have not already, make sure to go over and check out EMP Shield. This is a actual device that can protect you against EMPs. This can protect against all three phases. This can be wired into different devices like a generator. It can be wired into your home. It can be wired into a motorcycle. This can be done for your RV. It can even be done for your solar system, your solar generator. In fact, Energy was introduced to us by EMP Shield because they have an Energy solar generator that has this built with. So they have partnered up, and it's really, really amazing because you can actually get both. You can get a solar generator that is already has this capability that is completely protected against EMP. Now, again, this is the same company that was not only mentioned in the Department of Homeland Security EMP Resilience Report, but this is also the same company that was contracted by the likes of DHS, DOD, and now on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. So essentially, the entire U.S. has had some sort of relation with this company. It's Keystone tested, military tested, and it's 100% American made. It's veteran owned. Again, this is an amazing company. They actually care about the Fugel fam. They have done things outside of any marketing for our Fugel fam, and for those who are here that they have actually spent time with or helped, please let people know because they are not your average company. So go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. It is, again, something that everybody should be looking at as far as if you don't want to be stuck 40 miles away at work or something, especially those who work far from home, then I'd highly recommend it. And not to mention, a lot of people think they're set up. They're like, I got a generator, I got all this. Well, if your generator's gone and done for, then what's the point, right? So good luck trying to find parts that aren't screwed. All right, and then that's, again, marfooglenews.com/EMP. Not only will you get $50 off per device, you will help our channel. You'll help, again, support my family, Dex's family, and, again, future families. Hopefully we can expand. So thank you, everybody that supports us. Again, thank you. All right, and then Dex, leaders meet around the globe hoping to calm the Ukraine crisis. Now, one thing that really bothers me about this is a lot of countries are meeting, they're cross-hatching right now, and there's some kind of funky meetings going on here. What do you think?
Yeah, it certainly seems like there's a lot of jockeying between, I guess the latest was U.S. and Germany, but we recently, if you remember, we reported last week, it was Boris and, or the UK, I should say, and Russia. And then, of course, we've got Macron or France and Russia. And then you also had last week, right before the opening ceremonies, Putin and Russia and China meeting. So, and there's probably a lot more, but everybody seems to be brokering a deal right now, right?
Yeah, and you have these kind of weird changes of heart that are happening. Now, again, double cross this thumbnail is because here's my personal thoughts. Now, I'm not necessarily at all right. I have a feeling, and I also base this on what I have analyzed through all of the information that we have. It feels to me like we kind of screwed over France with this whole sub deal with Australia. Now, I don't know if that was all done for show, but if you don't remember, we covered, we ended up cutting in the middle of a deal between the French and Australia. The French were going to make Australia these nuclear submarines. Well, I think their contract was like 13, 14 years or something like that. Well, the U.S. stepped in because Australia essentially said, hey, we need nuclear subs right now. And I believe that we were able to either fulfill it immediately or within like 2 years. And that's when I asked the question, why do they need these nuclear-powered submarines so quickly? Kind of made us think, right? And the French were extremely pissed off. It is a lot of money. I mean, we're talking about, somebody just pulled out your wallet and just took money straight out of your wallet. I mean, this was virtually a done deal between them. And then they cut in between and they said, hey, we'll do it better. So France has not been too happy with us. Now, as far as Macron and all of the other stuff, I don't know what's going on the global scale as how many of these leaders are, talking and high-fiving behind the scenes. But what I do know is every leader around the planet has their people hating them. Macron in France, in Paris, they have had protests just like nuts. They've had some of the most awe-inspiring pictures of these people protesting. People are really pissed off at all of the world leaders. So what better to calm that than just being, concerned about your safety every day? I'm telling you, people don't realize like what humanity is capable of to cover up things that they don't want you to know. Remember this. They're telling us in the next 9 years, they're going to switch from gas. Think about how short 9 years is. Think about the year 2014 or 13. How does that seem like it was that long ago? And they say by 2030 we're gonna basically be trying to go gas free, and by 2040 completely. How do you reset an entire global market built around oil and gas, right? Dex, am I crazy? Doesn't it seem like if we have to switch all of our currency, and again, it's a backed dollar, our dollar is a petrodollar. So what if we get rid of the petro?
Yeah, it's an interesting it's an interesting conundrum, right? There's all this push towards green sources like electricity and other things, or what they would call that. The more we move towards that, the less reliant, I guess, we're going to be on oil. But at some point, that's not going to happen overnight. That takes some time. But yeah, there is the whole petrodollar situation, specifically with our biggest competitors, China and Russia. They would love nothing more than to start trading, oil and not have to use the U.S. dollars to do it, right? And they've set themselves up very nicely with their own digital style currencies to hopefully help usher that in, or at least give them a way of doing transactions, especially those that they need for oil. Hopefully, in a way that won't require the U.S. dollar in their mind. Hopefully, not necessarily mine, but yeah.
And, as far as everything that is happening right now, it's not happening in slow-mo. I mean, this is going to pick up, and you're just going to go, hey, how is this happening so fast? It seems to me like they need something like a massive, massive distraction. Also, all of this information is coming about the previous 2 years. All sorts of things that were not accepted 2 years ago. I mean, why do you think they're silencing so much? They're silencing things because something massive just happened right in front of our eyes. And even the people that are skeptics will go, holy moly, I can't believe they did this. Sealed up the windows and all. That might even be a part of it. We may have had somebody installed. That is insanity. And those countries, we're talking about, there's crypto things that are going on right now. Again, me and Dex totally disagree on some stuff. One of the things I have a bad feeling, and this is my personal feeling, is the whole crypto thing. They're going to use it, somehow use it against us. And I know the crypto people are like, that's impossible because of how it works. I don't know. I just don't. Something about it just gives me the heebie-jeebies that all of the countries are going to be doing it. There's rumors, and I don't even think it's a rumor. I want to say China announced it, but I'm not going to say. I don't have anything to back that up. But China was going to start a gold-backed cryptocurrency, and that's been coming around from all sorts of different places, and that they were going to announce it around this whole thing with the Olympics. So I don't know if they did do that. Do we know if China announced a gold-backed cryptocurrency?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily gold-backed, but it is their digital yuan that they have. And they did launch that. It is something that they're using in their systems. It's controlled into their banking. and they were trying to showcase it around the Olympics, is what we had reported a while back. But I don't know if they've got the app part working where they're showcasing that at the Olympics right now. But they did get the currency up and running.
See, here's the thing. It's like, where's our currency supposed to go? They want to get rid of all cash because cash can't be tracked. Everything digital can be tracked. I'm sorry, even if it's decentralized, they're going to be the decentral. They're going to have a decentral station. I don't know. I think that if you control everything, you're going to find a way to make it look like it's not being. They're just going to put a little bug there and watch everything that goes through. They did the Banking for All Act. They want everybody to have a banking account. They want every dollar to be taxed. They want every dollar to be kept track of. And then during this whole CV thing, they put things in. They just tried to slip it in that everything over $600 they would literally track. Once your bank account hit $600, you would be tracked. Now people caught that in the 8,000 page thing, and they were like, hey, this is really messed up. What are you doing? The IRS was going to watch your bank account if once you hit 600, and then after that, they would watch every single withdrawal, every single deposit. That's not how it should work. You should be able to do, this is insanity. And all under the guise.
Well, and it kind of goes against, it really goes against the heart of what they were trying to build when they were building crypto, and they still build to this day with cryptocurrency or, distributed ledger technology, right? But what you're seeing is a country like China come in and say, hey, yeah, we like this technology because it allows us to do what you just said. I could track everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to build our own, and then we're going to outlaw everything else so that you can't use everything else. And you only have to use our own. And therefore, it just takes away the whole notion of it being distributed. It's now centrally managed by the country of China. So now they track and own everything. So, I don't want people to necessarily think that the whole term crypto has this bad label upon it, because it's really a technology. It's who uses it, how they use it. And that's why some of the stuff that's been out there, like Bitcoin and others, they are not owned by any country and can't be. They could be outlawed, but they can't be owned. They are sort of like an entity in and of themselves, and they've sort of done away with the need for a governance or a government or a bank to back them, right? That's what's supposed to be so good about crypto, was getting away from these central banks and these governments.
Basically, the big corporations they'll step in and ruin anything good. They're like, oh, we'll do it $10 cheaper and we'll make ours sparkly. I don't want your sparkly poo coin. Poo coin. Poo coin. I think it was actually poo coin. 3 NATO carrier groups are exercising together in the Mediterranean. We knew there was already several, but now it says 2 Russian Navy Slava-class cruisers are also underway in the Mediterranean and could be joined by a 3rd that's now in the Black Sea. It says that 3 different NATO carrier groups are conducting joint operations in the Mediterranean Sea in a powerful demonstration of the alliance's maritime power as the East-West crisis over Ukraine continues. Again, notice how nobody's talked about Taiwan during this, because China's doing it's just like Black Friday. They waited until the Saturday morning after Black Friday to announce the me chronic. And of course, once they did, it was like, all of the companies that did the all went up billions and trillions of dollars. Everybody, all the CEOs of the firma all went up just overnight. New billionaires overnight. But just like this, they're going to wait. They're going to wait until after the Olympics for Taiwan, I bet. It says that the latest drills involve the Harry S. Truman Carrier Strike Group, the HST CSG, which has been integrating over a 2-day period with the French Task Force. The French Task Force. Centered upon the carrier Charles de Gaulle and the Italian strike group based around the carrier Cavallaro. Alongside all of this, the Russian Navy has also been engaged in a flurry of activity in the region, with a host of different warship movements taking place against the backdrop of the situation in Ukraine. So there was Neptune 22, Neptune Strike 22. That was an exercise during which the carrier strike group was handed over to NATO control. That was our ships handed over to NATO, and they controlled it and did what they wanted with it. It says this is the first time an American aircraft carrier has operated under the auspices of an alliance for any reason since the end of the Cold War. Neptune Strike 22 also involved the Cavour Strike Group, an amphibious command ship, USS Blue Ridge, the flagship of the U.S. Sixth Fleet. Meanwhile, elements of Task Force 473, including the Charles de Gaulle, departed Toulon Naval Base in the Mediterranean on February 1st as part of the Clemenceau 22 deployment. Now, remember, all of those, there were ships from January 18th and 19th to February 1st. We virtually deployed just everything. Watch the video coming up on Marfoogle News right after this show. We want everybody to head over there because you're going to be blown away by what we found. Again, and this is something that anybody can verify. I have to say, and we're talking deployments. If you think nothing's going on, just wait. Monica Kelly, thank you so much for your support. Simply Pony, all these corrupt people can go foogle themselves. Hey, don't use corrupt in that way. And I think it has one R. Wait, no, you spelled it right. Stephen McMahon says they will only use nukes as a last resort. Weapons development in the last 70 years is way beyond that. They will only use nukes as a last resort. Weapons development in the last 70 years is way beyond that. Well, I know that they've made an agreement to that, but we also were agreeing with Japan when Pearl Harbor went down, so you never know. And then Rufus from Beyond the Grave. Did you add that? Like, because I said my dad's dog was named Rufus. I don't remember that last time. And I pay attention. I pay attention to everybody. Even though there's 5,000 people, I pay attention to those. I have a good memory for names. That's funny. Stephen McMahon, one of the reasons, if not the reason, the Shadow Gov wanted Orange Man out is that he pointed out that we get nothing from NATO membership. And if you look at the countries in NATO, honestly, I was thinking there was going to be bigger heavy hitters. I was looking at the list. I'm going to show you in the next video some of the alliances that are currently happening and some strange things that are going on here, especially with some of the biggest countries in the world. Russia sends dozens of attack helicopters to Crimea and the Sea of Azov. Against the backdrop of growing tensions, Russia started redeploying attack helicopters to Crimea, as well as to the coast of the Sea of Azov. It said, and I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure, it goes about dozens of military helicopters that will be used to contain the troops of the armed forces of Ukraine in the event that they attack either the Donbas or Russia. The videos which appeared on the internet last week show a significant number of Russian combat helicopters heading to the coast and the Sea of Azov. The point of destination for the helicopters was not disclosed. In another video, one can see a group of Russian military helicopters flying from the Krasnodar region in southern Russia to the Crimea. Reportedly, the helicopters will be deployed in the north of the peninsula. The emergence of high-performance helicopters in Crimea comes as another indicator of a strategic insight and capabilities that Moscow will be able to use in any of the likely military scenarios, in which Russia will be forced to respond to any aggressive action that Ukraine may take against Donbas. Now, remember, they've set it up to where it's going to look like it might be Ukraine does something and they are the aggressor. But remember, they just told the whole world, and they've got documentation They've got all these officials going out there and saying to the whole world, hey, they're going to plan this and they're going to make it look like it's Ukraine, but it's really not. It's actually Russia dressing up as Ukraine to do it to themselves. But really, it's a double Fantastic Freddy. A double Fantastic Freddy. Sometimes I don't know where to put that echo. Dex, do you have anything on this?
Don't two negatives make a positive?
Are you talking about the echo?
No. I was thinking of the double fantastic.
Oh, I know. Half glass broken, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, so again, this is another article though. Keep in mind, because a lot of times, we do go on both sides, right? We go try to pick up news from the other side of the fence, so to speak, and from our side of the fence. So this is one coming out of Russia's news. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what's being said here and how it's being portrayed to us. And so, but yeah, we continue to see massive troop movement, massive equipment movement. It in their eyes, it's for defense or it's for training, right? And of course, our side of the fence is at the leadership level is saying, oh no, they're looking like they're going to invade, so we have to defend. So everybody's pointing fingers at everybody.
Well, there's lots of fingers to go around. Megan asks, hey, thank you so much for going over to PayPal this week. And I want to make a special thank you to Able-Bodied. Able-Bodied, thank you for going over there as well. I hope that you're okay. I some of you guys I miss. I don't see as much anymore. Krista R, Faley M, big shout out to Lisa R Hall. Thank you so much for everything you do, and you're absolutely amazing. Again, need to talk to you and catch up. Same with Jay Stone and everybody else, all the original crew. Again, thank you guys. Brant O, May, thank you so much for going over to PayPal this week. Dawn B, Kenny Cams, thank you so much. Marf and fam, I am an independent artist. Have been watching for about 3 years. Hey, Kenny Cams, I will get around to that. And again, I actually checked out your videos, and I thought you were very talented. May, and then Joanna H, Karen W, and Terry D. Thank you. And then, by the way, Kenny Cams, thank you for not spamming. You're not spamming. Like, even Dex knew that when he got the email too. He's like, nah, this is an actual Foogle fan member. So I think you deserve a love mob than some of these people that just see a big audience and say, hey, show my stuff. I think that's cool. So if you guys haven't checked out Kenny Cams with 2 Ks and a Z, Kenny Kamz, go check him out and say hi from the Foogle fam. Donna F, Diane M, Ruth S, Jessica T, Lori S, Davis D, Heidi JW, Kimberly S, thank you guys, Deborah, LJP, over the last month, thank you guys. All right, and then just to remind you, if you have not already, make sure to go over to marfugglenews.com/prep. You can get pretty much anything from long and short-term survival food. Every purchase helps out our channel, and you get a discount. On the 1-month supply, you get $50 off, and on the 3-month supply of food, again, you can get $150 off. They have done their best to keep their prices the same, but the one thing that they have taken away in the past is the discounts. Every other company, their competitors have been running out because they're not big enough to supply what the demand is right now, or they have been raising their prices just astronomically. This is a big enough company that they have been staying stable almost this entire time. I don't think they've raised their prices during CV. So again, this is an amazing, amazing company. The food is really good. I picked it because of its taste and because of everything else. I tasted 7-year-old food, and it tasted like it was made tonight. I mean, it was good. Again, make sure to go over there, and you can get all sorts of cool gadgets. As far as the other thing that I highly recommend, everybody recommends, is water purification. If you don't have a good system, that is the one reason they say 90% of us would perish in a grid down scenario, is not having clean water. Clean, potable water is one of the most valuable things in the world. You can get an Alexa Pure Pro system over there. Again, marfooglenews.com/prep. If you don't have one, I would highly recommend trying to get one. And then again, not only will you be helping out our channel, you'll be helping out yourself. Thank you, everybody that has done so in the past and in the future. Remember to go over to marfooglenews.com for all of that and more. Dex, do you want to tell us about what we saw here? There's some pretty freaky stuff.
Yeah, so head over to marfooglenews.com, click on the thumbnail for the show, scroll down to that web-only content. A lot of things happening with Rogan. So if you guys haven't been following the Rogan story, it just keeps expanding. And somebody is now offering a new $100 million contract to him, which is amazing as well. But it seems like he's sticking where he's at, and the CEO is sort of, I don't know, hemming and hawing about how he's going to deal with them. But go check it out if you're not up to speed on that. You'll find other things like what's happening with some of the athletes over at the Olympics and the complaints and horrors, as they call it, that are happening there. And definitely some stuff in the political spectrum that, a lot of this stuff is either too hot for TV or it's too political, one side or the other, or opinionated. So go check it out, see what's going on in that space as well. If you're on YouTube, it's real simple. It's the first link in the description. Just open it up. It says show notes, click it, and you're right there. Just scroll down to web only content.
So Dex, this is insane. So I didn't even know Rumble had that kind of money. Didn't Rumble kind of half get started by what is his name? The also controversial, or I hate that. I shouldn't have said that. The smart man who helped start Rumble. Sorry to put a keyword that makes you think badly of somebody before you even talk about them, like all of these articles do. Do you know who I'm talking about? Was he the current, like one of the founders, or are you talking about an investor, or I'm not sure where you're investor,
going with
and
it.
he's taken his videos over there. He was banned a couple places. Why can't I think of his name? Oh, Bongino. Is that Rumble?
No, he was doing the other one that fell apart. Parlor, I think that was what he was
he's
in.
part of. He's got. Maybe
I know he's on Rumble. I just don't know that he's. I don't know if he's invested. I could be wrong, but I know he was in.
I know he's big on Rumble. Maybe the audience.
He is. A lot of people are.
Maybe the audience knows. Is it Bongino? And is he a part of that? So by the way, the information says that again that Rumble has offered Joe Rogan $100 million contract amid this whole Spotify thing. And I'm like, well, wasn't that his original contract in the first place that made him go Spotify? Like, go to Rumble. Do you realize how big that would be for Rumble? I mean, that's like kind of like when PewDiePie went over to DLive. It brought hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, he had 100 million followers on YouTube. So it was a huge thing. That's right.
And they did give Bongino an equity stake, but I don't know that he actually invested his money. But yes, he is on there, I knew. But I know he was part owner of Parler, though.
Well, I'm just saying, who has the 100? Do they even have 100 million? Or is this
they just acquired another company recently. They've been growing quite a bit. Gosh,
maybe we need to get our videos over there more. Rumble, I want something else to work. You guys know, everybody does, I think. Man, what if we just all right, man. Well, hey, Dex, thank you. After the show, we're going to do a short shoutro. Again, thank you to Gone Girl 777, EOD Vet, Veteran Steve, Susan Donahue, the whole crew. Thank you for the mods. Make sure to put in mods in the chat. We're going to go take a short break. Make sure in a few minutes, go get a drink, go get some popcorn. Join us back on Marfoogle News. I'm going to do a short video, and I'm just going to show you some of the stuff that we found here. Again, thank you. Gunswater, Borksborg, Walk the Plank, NH Home, Jaleesa Hernandez, Kathy Paina, nice to see you. Paena, thank you so much for being here. Aloha. Aaliyah, thank you for modding. Jason78, thank you for modding. Hey. Overbuilt Automotive, nice to see you again. Alicia's here. How are you doing? Are you, how are you feeling about, I know you lost your sister. We were all praying for you. Shastina, let's see here. We've got everybody in here. Thank you guys. That really means a lot. Lisa R. Hall, thank you guys. Love you. All right, Dex, you have a great night. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro.
World War III. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War III. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War III.
Tony on the Sibley and everybody in it, and Linda Jeffries, City on the Rice. Everybody, I had to say it twice. Linda Jeffries, Donnie Ball, John Bali, and the Mr. Paul. Sibley Pony and the Joseph Newhouse. I'll bring it right down and I'll bring down. Hey, Wages World, thank you for all of your support over the days and you. Ariel A and the Wrestling Mermaid, hope you got together with Mike again. Hey, VR and the CS, the Sibley Pony and the Machine, the Hope Fest. Bring it right down, oh yes. Bible talk for the common people. Sal J on the wind and camera. And Stanley on the on. I stepping in it, going back and having in it. Old Brack down in the Christopher Thomas on the Sam on the senior. Michelle Lee, Galton and that Jeff Perkins. Oh now, I see it all down. Bring it right back and you bring it on down.
Plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War III. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War III.
Got the Rachel and the S out now. With the white tail 7 and the O now. With the Allen on the Hodge and the I now. Ilea and the Hopkinson, everybody know now. Mama on the Mima, Rio on the Essa. Bring her right down with the Holly on the Quella. Bring down now and everybody say ya. Kathleen on the bums with the Caddy of Piana. Oh now, gonna do it about Linda. Jenny on the C and the Joseph on the Smither. Bring it all down and everybody in her. Palm and Sensor 143 on the Avenue. Bring it down now, Bam Avenue. Bring it right down now and get woke down out. Everybody do every single thing that they do now.
Plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War III.
Got the Rachel and the S and the NOH. Charlie 64 and the Miss 68. Chair Aikens, bring it down. Going right back in the ready man now.
World War III.
And Psycho, going on Psycho. Bring it right down and I ride my bicycle. Hey now with the Susan Gasso. Baby guessing, everybody just you. Hey, with a CJ Texas. Mickey on the 41 and Ilea SS. Maybe they might guess this. Like a question, like a Tribeca.
2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War III.
Got the Gary V or Amy A.V. or on Vic with the Dirt Man B and the Angela. 1609, Brian Nye, do it all fine. Stealth mode with the Lord Red W. Phil W and the Phil Bentley too. Hey, Oster LaFon, going right back in the Oster LaPond. Oster La Vista, baby and J.A. La 50, 60, Baya. Bring it back, go with fade away. A purple queen in the Lindy Lou Hendrix. Hey, now with the Casper Sparks. 80 on the one with the Mr. Park. Good night, fam, and I love you all, Mars. Poker Loco and everybody awesome.
1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War III.
Got the Happy on the Quails with the Rachel on the ass and the Virginia Olsen and everybody say yes. Hey, Velma Helga. Hey, what the hell?
1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World on the tabs with the love map. Oh, J Stone's comment in the comment and the best now. With the Shastina and press now. With the Mickey 41 Battleborn and the Diesel and the Allen Hard. Misconduct, everybody hold on. And the hippie dippy toes I go now. Jeffrey Petrie in the Petrie ditch. Everybody wanna say no, just kidding, I'm not. I'm not Joe Rogan, I don't get no 100 million. Ha ha!
1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what? What? World War III.
It's more biological. Anita Lane, absolutely no. No on the war. Bring it on down with the woo shout it.
1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus what?
They hate you now, ooh. They hate you now, ooh. They hate